really what I learned the last recession was like, there's really no reason to live above your means. We all get caught up with keeping up with the Joneses, a counterpart's driving a new car. I need to get a new car. Everyone's getting a nice swanky apartment or condo in downtown Chicago. That's, a crazy percentage of the income that you have. At the end of the day, we're all humans. If that stuff is going to cause you stress, which value are these things really providing you at the end of the day? So, I definitely lived above my means, before the last recession. The last recession hit me off my bike, was a swift, like, sucker punch to the gut. And, from there on out, I just live well below my means. It's revenue coming in or income coming in and expenses or costs that are coming out. And I think if you can look at your personal situation like that and start today, you're going to be very, very happy that you did when you pick your head up 3 years from now.
Well, yeah. And one of the fun things is if you go out and ask, 35 people, just a random sample, if you ask 35 people that are 40 and above, do you wish you would have started paying attention to your finances sooner or later than you did, whatever time that is? 100% of people will say, I should have paid attention to this sooner, right? And so, there's sort of this hindsight effect where most Americans, because of the society we have built, most Americans will live beyond their means for some period in their lives. And for everyone, that's different, right? For some people, it's from age 22 to 24, and then the Great Recession hits, and then all of a sudden Tim is like buried in Reddit threads and like reading Dave Ramsey, right? And getting his stuff together. For other people, it's going to be a 10-year period after they have their second kid, and like, you just sort of like, you're like, I got to do what it takes to make it work. But we live in a society that doesn't really have this idea of we can only spend as much as we have. And so we have the capacity to live beyond our means compared to Europe, right? Europe doesn't really have a robust personal credit system where you can just get a ton of credit and therefore go into debt. They don't have student loans by and large. And so the debt profile of individuals in a place like Europe is near zero, right? I mean, you may take out debt to like start a business, but like that's a different circumstance. That's not the individual per se. But in the United States, we've extended credit to individuals without equipping them with the knowledge. And so for by and large, like, I've lived beyond my means. You have too. Like, I'm Dave Ramsey. Part of his story is like, I bought 50 houses and then overextended myself and sort of my empire collapsed and I rebuilt it. Right. And so like, even if it's just like 1 or 2 credit cards or 50 houses, people generally are able to overextend themselves, and without sufficient education or guardrails, like, that can lead people into these situations where they're sort of backpedaling in a global pandemic, a recession, or just in general living paycheck to paycheck for the vast majority of their lives, which is a pretty common story, right? Not to rehash it, but like 76% of people habitually live in a paycheck to paycheck cycle in the United States. I mean, you do the math on it and you're like, okay, well, we have 260 million American working individuals. 75% of that, right, is freaking 190 million people. Like, that is most people just waiting for that next paycheck to sort of hit their bank account, whether you're a software engineer, a business development rep, marketing and advertising, a teacher, the list goes on and on. It's pretty pervasive when you start to look at the broad implications across the country.